For the past year now, I've made my podcast with a company called Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First, it's free. That's right, it doesn't cost you anything to make your own podcast. They have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your own podcast right from the computer or your own phone. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and every other place. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's really easy. You'll have your podcast up and running in no time. Go to Anchor. Welcome to Beer in Front. I'm your host, Dave Zalatoris. Every week I'll discuss a beer that maybe we've forgotten along the way while we accumulate our check-ins and badges. Some weeks I'll feature a new beer that has potential to be a classic. Being from Chicago, I'll talk about some local beers I had during the week, I'll add my spin to events of the day, and at the end of the show I'll call out the jag-offs of the week. This week's beer will be Rain or Shine. That's Beer in Front, coming up now. Welcome to episode 72 of Beer in Front. How is everyone doing this week? I mentioned on last week's show that I'm taking the month of August off from the beer podcast. So this will be the last episode for a few weeks, but I'm going out with a bang. I talked to Toni and April from Blaq Soul. It was a great conversation. We discussed a lot of things, but the main thing was we discussed the second Shift Brewing version of Rain or Shine. That is a tropical stout, and the proceeds go to the Trans Women of Color Collective. That was a great interview. That'll be coming up soon. Also, I'm releasing this episode on Thursday, the 29th. If anyone is around tomorrow, which is Friday the 30th, and you live near me in the North Center, Lincoln Square area of Chicago, there's a great bar crawl happening with state representatives Ann Williams, Margaret Croak, and the state senator for this area, Sarah Feigenholtz. Please check that out. That's going to be at Burning Bush, Beguile, Dry Hop, and Uncommon Ground. So please check that out if you're available. I don't think I'm going to get to all four, but I'm definitely going to be at Burning Bush at 1, and I'll be at Beguile at 2 o'clock. So if you're around, stop by, say hello to me, say hello to our state politicians. Should be a good time. In these 21st century modern digital times, the personal touch gets left behind. Ruby Star. How do you connect with someone to show them how you feel? Ruby Star. That's right. When you want to reach out to someone, send them a card from Ruby Star Cards. If you love old school paper cards, pretty things, and want to support a local Latina-owned small business, check out Ruby Star Cards at www.etsy.com/shop/Ruby Star Cards. New handmade one-of-a-kind designs are added weekly. Mention my podcast, Beer in Front, and get a warm smile because this is usually the spot in an ad where this kind of stuff gets mentioned, and I'm nothing if not professional. That's Ruby Star Cards at www.etsy.com/shop/Ruby Star Cards. Don't be a jagoff. Order today. Ruby Star. In beer news this week, Revolution announced their fall-winter Deep Wood Series lineup, and this looks like a winner. On October 15th, they're going to release Death Star, Cafe Death, Death by Raspberries, which I'm really looking forward to. Death by Cherries was killer. Death by Raspberries should be just as good. On November 19th, they're releasing the Barley Wine Straight Jacket, Vanilla Death, and Blackberry Finn, which is a barley wine aged in barrels with blackberries. On December 10th, they're releasing Rye Way to Heaven, Maple Jacket, and Dark Mode, which is an imperial milk stout that's aged in bourbon barrels. On January 28th, they'll release a Scotch ale called Gravedigger Billy, VSOR, which is a rye aged in rye and bourbon barrels. And also, they're coming out, and I don't quite get this, but they're going to start coming out in the 19.2 ounce cans. They're still going to have the 4-pack of 12 ounce cans, but a 19.2 ounce, that's pretty big. So that'll be coming out this fall and winter from Revolution. I had some decent beer this week. I had an old favorite of mine, Great Lakes Burning River Pale Ale. This is one I haven't had in a long time, but I'm a big fan of Great Lakes. I enjoy all their stuff. I believe Burning River was the first beer that I had from Great Lakes when they came to the Chicago area back in, I believe, 2003. Great Pale Ale. This one is a little more malt forward. You get the biscuit malt here, and Moira likes it as well. But no, this is really good. It's got the nice pine citrus hops to this. Really good pale ale. I think this is actually the first time I've had this in a can. I just remember the old bottles with the purple label on it, like the purple flames. But no, still a great beer. If you see Great Lakes Burning River, I'd pick that one up. Longtime friend of the show, Sarah, brought over a gluttonous breakfast. This is an imperial stout from Old Irving, and it was outstanding. I keep mentioning Old Irving, but they keep putting out great beers. If you see Gluttonous Breakfast, this is a 13% imperial stout. Pick it up. It was great. One that my friend Ray delivered from Vegas, even though this was another one that started out east, made its way to Vegas, and made its way back to me in Chicago. This is from Marlowe Artisanal Ales. This is an American pale ale called Easy to Share. Can't say enough good things about this one. This was great. If you see it, grab this one. Eager to Share was fantastic. And then I had one, this is odd. Control Perry brought me one from Beaver Creek Brewery. Now they're located in Montana. This is called their Red-Headed IPA. The way he was describing it, this is a 16-ounce can, and they write the date that they can it, but it's almost like a crowler, so they fill the 16-ounce cans right then and there for you. So this was about 3 weeks old by the time I was able to have it. It was flat. The taste was decent. There was carbonation when you opened the can, but as you were drinking it, there was very little to it, so it would have been rated higher if there was some carbonation. And also, this is the 21st century. We don't need to put sexist shit on cans. So they have on there, our beaver tastes better. Come on. How old are you? There's no reason. This shit shouldn't be on a can. So the beer was okay had it been carbonated, but yeah, there's really no reason to have stupid shit like this on a can. One that I had that I really enjoyed. This was from Riverlands out in St. Charles, Illinois, in cahoots with 93 Octane Brewery and Brother Chimp Brewery. This is a cold pale ale called Rolling Down Randall. I loved this one. And I'm sorry, it's a cold IPA. I loved this one. This was, can't say enough good things about this. A cold IPA, now this was brewed with a lager yeast. Like I said, I cannot say enough good things about this. If you see this, I picked this up at Promiscuous, but it's from Riverlands in St. Charles called Rolling Down Randall. Grab it. Polatima Velashik. Polatima Velashik. See, Brian, I was able to pronounce it. Trust me, I said this about 100 times before I hit record. But Brian from the 3-1 Pour sent me another one from Second Shift. This one benefits beer culture. This is Polatima Velashik 12. This is a Czech style amber lager that I really liked as well. Really good malt profile to this. This was fantastic. The new Seltzer King of Chicago, Steve, took care of me with some seltzers this week. One that I was intrigued about, and a lot of my friends on beer Twitter from St. Louis and from Kansas City kept checking in with this one from Four Hands. This was called Sparkler, which was inspired by a bomb pop. Steve took care of me with a couple different seltzers. This was one. I really dug this one a lot. If all you think about hard seltzer is the Trulies and the White Claws of the world, give this one a try. This was really good. And another one that he gave me that I liked a lot was from Cacti. This was a pineapple agave spiked seltzer. This was made with 100% premium blue agave. I really liked the pineapple taste of this. This, to me, tasted very natural. This is something that I could knock off a lot of, but this was really good from Cacti. Pineapple agave spiked seltzer. Welcome back to Beer in Front. The beer in front of me today is Rain or Shine. This is a collaboration between Blaq Soul, Second Shift Brewing, Cloudwater Brew Company, Queer Brewing, and Rock Leopard Brewing. The proceeds for the Second Shift version of Rain or Shine will go to the Trans Women of Color Collective. The UK version will benefit UK Black Pride and Black Trans Foundation. I am honored to have on today the founders of Blaq Soul, Toni and April. Toni and April, thank you so much for taking time out. How are you this evening?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. No complaints. It's a nice Tuesday. It's not Monday, so I'm doing well.
All
It's
right. Yeah. Yes, I hear it's hot over there.
I am hot,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, I've been looking forward to having Rain or Shine for a while. I want to thank Brian over at 3-1 Pour for hooking me up with this. This is a tropical stout, and this is from the Second Shift in St. Louis. So, cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
Ooh. Oh, this smells terrific.
Told you. That was the first thing that I noticed too when I cracked ours open. Smells.
I mean, there's a wonderful. I mean, this is a tropical stout. I'm even getting like a little coconut in here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, that one was brewed with the Stabro hop, so that was very much intended to give a bit of coconut
Yeah.
to the. But although some of our folks don't like the Sabro hops, I got to take a shot at Jeb for telling us that Sabro hops are the devil. We won't repeat exactly what he said, but it sounds like
I saw that. I saw that little exchange. Yeah.
I liked it because it's very subtle. It's not overpowering.
yeah.
A tropical stout is something different. Like you see now all the beer barrel age nonsense and stuff. What was the idea behind this style for the project?
Actually, there was no really rhyme or reason. Paul from Cloudwater suggested, hey, you want to do a tropical stout, and everybody was on board with that. And Libby and Steve pretty much said, "Oh, we were just talking about doing this style. We've never done one before, so a lot of uncharted territory with this one.
Okay.
We just kind of took a plunge with that style."
I was pretty worried just because when I hear tropical stout, I just thought it was going to taste like really weird. I love stout. That was my gateway. beer, but I was just thinking like papaya weirdness. But I am a freak when it comes to coconut. So as soon as Paul said coconut, I was like, okay, we're doing it. That's cool. I just didn't want an IPA.
Yeah, I mean, but tropical stout is more to do with the region that it comes from than the flavors that you get from the beer.
I did not know that. I was thinking a bunch of fucking fruits.
No, this is fantastic.
But
Now, did all of the breweries, like you said something earlier, there's like a subtle difference in the UK version that's higher in alcohol. Did they do anything different? Like any different hops or any different ingredients?
No, I don't think anything was done intentionally different.
Okay.
I think one of them just attenuated a bit more, so it has a bit of a thinner body and a little bit more alcohol.
Okay. Well, now what is this version here? This is a 6%. So the US version is a 6%. That's really good. I need to pour some more of this. Yeah, everything about this
I
is
enjoyed
great.
it.
I mean, it's good carbonation. I mean, everything. It has a nice, clean finish to it. This is a fantastic stout. You wouldn't think about having a stout in your 100-degree heat, my 90-degree heat with humidity, but no, I would have this all summer. How long is this going to be out for? Is this a limited deal? Is this going to be out for a long time?
Well, this is a one-run thing, but the spoiler alert is that some of the second shift version was placed into some whiskey barrels. So we are going to have a barrel-aged version of that be released probably later this year. Depends on how it does in those barrels. So we're looking forward to that. But this was a one-time, one-off collaboration to benefit those three lovely organizations that April can probably tell you a bit more about. But yeah, we're excited about it.
Oh, I'm looking forward to the barrel age version. Now, April, you enjoy infusing beer into your food recipes. Have you done anything with Rain or Shine yet, or is there anything in the works for a collaboration between this beer and food?
Yes, I'm going to stew some chicken.
Okay.
In the Rain or Shine. When we first tried it, I was thinking it just set me in the mind of jerk chicken or jerk, and I was thinking maybe jerk shrimp. That might be a pairing, but I'm definitely going to do some chicken in my Dutch oven with Rain or Shine.
Because like just sipping this and talking, and you just mentioned coconut before, I could see something with like maybe like a coconut ice cream with this in there. I don't know, but
that makes
this is a really
a Rain or Shine float.
Yeah,
ice cream float.
Yes. Yeah, I think this would go good with like a coconut ice cream.
Yeah, I like how the coconut is very subtle and it doesn't taste like artificial coconut. I hate the taste of artificial coconut.
Yeah.
I don't even have to be fancy with it. I would drink that and eat like Almond Joy or some shit. Like,
it does.
No, I had a beer from another brewery out east that was a coconut porter, and it tasted fake, where this doesn't at all. Like that other one, it had that fake sugary, like Mounds Bar coconut to it. But no, this is
that's
good.
That's why I think that people hate coconut, because they've tasted the artificial, because it tastes nothing like artificial coconut and coconut, two different flavor components.
Yeah. Cloudwater, Rock Leopard, and Queer Brewing are based in the UK. Is their version going to be available here in the States at all?
No, that was one of the reasons we had two organizations do it with us, to give it a bit more reach.
Okay.
So we have I know there's some collectors out there trying to get both, but we have the one in the US at Second Shift out in St. Louis, and the UK version is out at Cloudwater and at several bars apparently, on tap and in several packaged beer stores in the UK.
Okay.
They've distributed theirs extremely widely in the area, it seems.
You know, reading on Blaq Soul, and I wish my shirt has not arrived yet. I ordered my shirt last week, so hopefully the shirt will come soon. But now you're a space centering on Black LGBTQ plus folks through food, beverage, community activism, and lived experience-based education. You offer services as such as freelance writing, menus, cooking lessons, event planning, and consultation. What can you tell everyone that doesn't know about Blaq Soul?
Well, I mean, the way Blaq Soul came to fruition is that I've been in the beer industry for maybe about 3 years or so. Was involved with a few groups that had to do with the Black community and beer, but I never really saw somebody standing in the space of the Black queer community as far as
Okay.
it related to the beer industry. And anybody who's been around that community knows it's very much different than the Black community at large. And it is also very much different than the queer community at large. So it's very niche, it's a very specific culture. And a lot of things that we address in beer as far as DE&I and equity activism and work hasn't been very intersectional. So
Okay.
that's how it came to fruition. Right now, what we're working on is kind of giving you a window into our culture, what it looks like. April does that very well. She cooks. People like to watch her cook and ask her questions, but what we're really sharing with you through that is part of our culture. We have very frank conversations. Education doesn't always have to come from a book or be extremely formal, but we just had a webinar called Blackness Beyond the Binary with my friend Patrice, and we talked about what it was like to be Black and non-binary, and people took a lot from that and learned a lot and got a window into what our experiences were and how they can be allies to our community. Things like that are how we're trying to break down the educational piece from more academia. I know that some people shy away from that. Things get super textbooky and it can
Yeah.
be intimidating because I mean, even I've read a lot of books on intersectionality and stuff. There's a bunch of big words, and if you're not really in tune with that academically, it's hard to understand what's actionable for you out of that. So that's kind of where we are today. Of course, we got t-shirts and glasses and stuff to build brand awareness, but we're really trying to give people insight into our culture and use food and beverage as a backdrop to help support our community.
Mm-hmm.
And I work weekends, so I always miss the cooking shows. I think you have them on Saturdays, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe one Saturday I'll have to be under the weather or something, and I don't think I could tune in at the airport to watch the cooking shows.
Yeah, but they're also available on YouTube. I know a lot of our patrons that subscribe to our Patreon go back and watch them later if they're working or don't have a lot
Okay.
of time on the weekend. So we have a YouTube channel. All that stuff is on there. Even the webinar we did was recorded and uploaded to YouTube so other people can access it and hear all the good questions we were asked and our whole discussion. So it's there.
Okay. And the website is Blaq and Soul, and it's BLAQ and soul.com
Mm-hmm.
for people like me that will screw up the spelling. It's BLAQ and soul.
Yeah,
I
spelling's
need to have more of this. This is really good.
It's good. It really is good.
And it gets better as it warms up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
for me, I get more as it's warming up. I get more of the malt notes to it. Where initially I had the hop aroma and flavor. Now I'm getting the chocolate malts. This is a really good beer.
I tasted pineapple.
You did?
I think you
In
did.
that one?
I tasted pineapple. Yeah, in second shift. Just a little bit, not.
There was a subtle sweetness in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, yeah, I do pick up a little of that.
April's a sensory savant here, so I struggle with picking up things she picks up, but she's the cook. She's been doing that her whole life, and
That could be a curse.
her palate is way better than mine or anyone.
That's why when I don't like something, I don't like something. Like that's why I come across so damn strong.
Like mayonnaise, yes.
Devil.
Yeah.
There's nothing good about it.
On the bio, it says that you're doing a cookbook, April, or you're planning a cookbook?
Yes, it's like a labor of love.
Okay.
I want to do with Toni a cookbook, but I also wanted to have pairings. I wanted to share how I cook with beer.
Okay.
I was more into it before the pandemic, surprisingly. And the only thing that was missing was we don't have a camera. So now we have a fancy smancy camera where I can take pictures. Now it's just like getting the opportunity to cook more of those foods, because it's definitely going to be a soul food type of
Okay.
look. I feel like craft beer kind of ignores soul food. Anytime I
Yeah.
see some kind of book that has a pairing, it's like, no disrespect, European food and everything but Black food. But a lot of Black people do drink beer, and it's like,
Yeah.
we would like to know also what pairs with our food and our taste. So
Oh, yeah.
definitely in the works. I'm hoping to start back maybe this winter.
All right.
I've gained a few pounds because of the pandemic, so I'm trying to watch my figure, and we all know soul food is not good for the figure. So I had to put that on the back burner as of now. Maybe I'm doing more towards of the writing the recipes, but you have to taste the recipes. I am not a measurer, and yeah, that's kind of an issue. So I do have to go back and try to measure things to make sure I'm giving people accurate measurements. That's gonna be a pain in the ass, but
Yeah.
it's happening. It's gonna take a little longer, but I'm hoping to really get into the thick of things this winter when I start cooking.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Like when I was getting recipes, before she passed, from my grandmother, asking her things, okay, well, what's the recipe for this? Well, it's a little of this. I'm like, well, how much is a little? A pinch. What's a, So yeah, I totally get that.
I definitely learned how to cook for my mom, aunties, and you have to sit there and watch them because they're the exact same way. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. My auntie said shakes, 3 shakes. So yeah, we're in the same team with that.
Yeah. And Toni, reading your bio, what is an analytical chemist?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Analytical chemist is a person who uses chemistry to analyze things.
Okay.
That was a job. That was my one job at an actual brewery. So basically, the beer comes through at its various stages, and you measure it for different things. I would say my primary or most important responsibility was measuring VDK, and that's vicinal diketone. You're measuring the diacetyl. It's a natural byproduct of fermentation in beer. So it creates it as it's fermenting, but once it stops fermenting, it's going to reduce that amount of diacetyl, and that's kind of one of the indicators of when something is done fermenting. Because once the beer no longer has oxygen, the yeast has no oxygen no more to consume it, it's gonna stop. It's gonna start consuming the diacetyl that it produced during that aerobic stage. And fermentation is an anaerobic process, so oxygen has to be scavenged already. The yeast has reproduced, it's created this diacetyl, and then it's going to reduce it, and you'll know when it's done. That's one of the things that you know when it's done fermenting is VDK reduction and gravity. So measuring all those things.
Are there any plans, hopes, dreams for maybe doing a brewery on your own, the both of you?
Oh, Lord.
Or not?
That's a hell of a thing to start. It's expensive, labor intensive. I personally don't know how to brew myself yet, so that would be something that I would need to learn. That was what I wanted to do when I first got in the beer industry, but just the biggest thing that was the driver wasn't the work or learning what to do. It was the cost.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want a brewery. I would probably rather have a hops farm versus a brewery.
Okay.
Just because, I don't tend to get along with people who don't know how to act. And I just feel like I would just be kicking people the fuck out.
So you don't want the hospitality part of it. I mean, so you don't want a tap room is what you're saying.
Yeah, I do not. Yeah.
You should come work with me at the airport. Oh, you'll have a lot of fun. Yeah. Now, the proceeds for the U.S. version I mentioned before, this is going to the Trans Women of Color Collective. Mm-hmm. They uplift the narratives, leadership, and lived experiences of trans people of color while building towards the collective liberation of all oppressed people. How long have you been working with this organization, and what can you tell people that aren't familiar with them? What could you tell us about them?
Well, this was my first go around with them. I hope to work with them in the future. I reached out after a couple of weeks of looking on the internet to actually look for an organization. I reached out to the founder and director, Lourdes, told her what Blaq Soul was about, gave her all of our social media handles, just because it's very important to me that if I'm going to work with you, I want you to know April and how April talks and how April acts, and I want you to be comfortable with that. And if you are, we can work, and vice versa.
Mhm.
She was definitely on the same page. One of the reasons why I chose this organization is because they are very much so action driven. They do a
Okay.
lot of protests, they do a lot of sit-ins, like stuff that I'm so ready to do. And
You like protesting?
I
What?
do. Yeah.
I never
Who'd
would
have
have
thought?
guessed that.
But her organization offered a lot of things that I had never seen before. They offer legal service. They offer counseling. They offer. It's not a shelter, but it's kind of like a safe place for people who have been kicked out. A lot of
Okay.
gay, as well as a lot, unfortunately, of trans people get kicked out at a very young age for being themselves. They offer services for that, emancipation, just a broad variety of things that you wouldn't think off the top of your head unless you lived through it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it until I met Lourdes that she is a Black trans woman. So I also enjoyed that because I think who better to tell me about it than a Black trans woman?
Exactly.
So I love the organization. They do a lot for the community, and they are not shy like me. And we worked very well together, and hopefully I'll work with them in the future. But this was our first go around, and I think when we started this process, it only took me about a month to find them, talk to her for about a week, and then the ball started rolling.
Do you know anything about the UK based charities?
I don't, unfortunately. We did vet an organization that didn't work out, so I had to lean a lot on Paul and Lily. The time difference was also, I still don't know I don't know what time it is there now. I'm not even trying to count anymore. But I had to really lean on them. They were wonderful. Paul was like, I'll get it done. Paul is the type of person that he has his foot in a lot of different worlds, I guess. And that's what makes Paul. He's so empathetic and so understanding and so woke about a lot of different aspects of beer as well as just general people, I feel like. So when he said that he can get it done, I was like, yeah, have at it. And I think like 2 or 3 days later, he's like, yeah, I got 2. Didn't just get 1. I got 2, which wasn't surprising, but I don't know as much about them. So I didn't get to speak with them, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I trust Paul and Lily on this. So
yeah, if they say they're good, they're good.
Yeah, definitely.
I need to finish this up here real quick.
I'm not mad at you.
Wow, this is really, really good.
It is. I never had tropical stout before. I didn't even know there was a such thing.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to start searching for it.
I think it's called is one. That's,
I'm sorry.
I said Red Dragon. I think is called as one that's popular tropical stout.
I didn't know there was such thing.
But yeah, it's more based on where it comes from.
I didn't think that. I was thinking
they're
a bunch
popular
of coffee
in the Caribbean
and fruit. Which one?
I always talk more local beer from the Chicago area. Is there a brewery or a particular beer in the LA area that you don't think gets enough love that you want people to know about? Like, what's your favorite brewery, or what might be your favorite beer locally?
Here,
Correct. Yeah.
Land or IPA.
My favorite beers are in Chicago mostly, but
Okay.
I like one place I'd give a shout out to is PRSC. It's a Black-owned brewery and planning. They got, they're building it up. The mayor was just out there a couple weeks ago visiting their site. Right now, they're releasing some hazy IPAs, but it's called Legacy Series, and they're using the proceeds to give youth in South LA Chromebooks so they can do the studying from home. So all of the net proceeds to that are going to go to that initiative. So I definitely have bought a bunch of IPAs that I'm sharing with Mama Boys and people who
Yeah.
like to drink them, but I have a lot of respect for what they're
Yeah.
doing.
What's the name of that brewery again?
It's People's Republic of South Central. They go
Okay.
by PRSC.
Yeah.
All right. Love
So
to check them out.
Craig and Chewy, shout out to them for sure.
Right.
As far as actual beer, Highland Park, I really enjoy their lagers. Timbo Pills is one of my favorite ones that I like to do when I'm chilling or relaxing. I really got into them. My friend Tamina put me on, and I just never went down there and got any beer. Being in the house in the pandemic, having to drive to Orange County for appointments for work, you're driving right back up past through the city. So I stopped and got a couple crowlers one time, and it was pretty good. So I go back from time to time. You know, I had a crowler of an Italian Pilsner while we were decorating the Christmas tree, and then wasn't any help after. But I like that. Cask Ale, McLeod and Van Nuys is really good cask ale. I like their Lucky Penny ESB.
Okay.
I've had both canned and in cask. I really do like both of those. They got a good brown ale that I like too. So a couple of different things, but mostly your IPA city out here.
It's so
Yeah.
gross. It's so gross. I also like what's the one by your job? The old job, the one that Josie works at.
Oh, Common Space.
Common Spaces.
All right.
I can't speak on their beer. The reason why I like them is because they're not with gentrification. A lot of times the Black neighborhoods get gentrified. White breweries come in and they hire all white employees and people that don't live there. Whereas Common Spaces, when you walk in, the staff definitely represents the area that you're in.
Okay.
That's why I definitely support them. I don't think I had any beer with them.
No,
I don't think I have any beer with them.
So.
Like she said, it's mostly IPA land. I detest IPAs. So April usually the beer I like comes in the mail. Like for me.
April doesn't like anything hop forward, not just IPA.
Mm-mm.
She has disrespected Pilsner on many occasions.
Not a Pilsner.
It was, on the verge of irreconcilable differences. I was very happy.
Pilsner at Dovetail?
It was not a Pilsner.
Whatever.
What did you have at Dovetail, April?
I don't know what happened. I had a beer.
I think she had a Hellas. It was not anything
Maybe, yeah.
hop forward.
Maybe I did have a Hellas. That's true. Because Dovetail doesn't have any of my saisons. They don't have.
Yes, they do. They might not have had it then.
Yeah,
but they make
then.
Belgian style beer.
They didn't have.
Did you have
any
the Rauch beer?
Too.
What?
The Rauch beer, the smoked beer?
Rock beer is on the same level as mayo to me.
Oh, you have to have the Rauch beer from Dovetail. That's outstanding.
That was my
with
first
Toni.
rock beer.
I was so upset when she gave me that damn ham beer.
Ham beer. Wow.
It's just gross.
But that was
the next beer. The next beer should be a ham mayonnaise IPA.
Mm-mm. Somebody will come up with that shit too.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, somebody's thinking about it right now. They're like,
Yeah, they'll troll us and send a case to our.
I was at a place in Indianapolis that had, it literally was like Easter ham beer, but there was obviously no ham in there, but there were the cloves.
Ooh.
And I think there was like some cherry in there. And it was weird. Like I had a little taste of it. Yeah.
Getting flashbacks. It's just nasty. And like the beer, I don't remember which one you gave me. It just tastes like that cheap, like Dollar Tree or the $1.99 ham that when you open it, it's all slimy and it's like
Spam. Yeah.
it's just gross.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know you both are busy. Toni, April, I thank you so much for coming on. It was a lot of fun. Rain or shine from Second Shift in the US, in the UK. It's a collaboration between Cloudwater, Queer Brewing, and Rock Leopard. By all means, check it out. This is a fantastic beer that I have to thank Brian from the 3-1 Pour for hooking me up with this. Brian's the best. This was fantastic. April, Toni, thank you again. It means a lot. Please check them out at blaqandsoul.com, BLAQ and soul.com, and also the Trans Women of Color Collective at www.twocc.us. Toni and April, thank you again.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, since you're not going to hear this segment for a month, let's have some good ones. Here is everyone's favorite. Here are the Jagoffs of the Week. Tommy Fisher heard Trump's call to build the wall, so he spent out of his own company's pocket $30 million to build a 3-mile stretch of the wall. Now he'd like to get paid. Good luck with that, Tommy. Maybe send Trump a bill, see if you get paid for it. Jagoff. Alabama Governor Kay Ivey. She had this impassioned speech about the people that are not getting vaccinated, and she just wants them to get vaccinated. But Kay, you lifted the mask mandates and you refused to let businesses require vaccines. So you're a hypocrite. And you're a jagoff. Certain NFL players are upset because the National Football League wants them to be vaccinated, and if teams have to postpone a game because of a COVID outbreak, they will lose a game check. And of course, these players, all their freedoms and all of that, they're upset. But you have a vaccine that's proven to be effective. That'll get people to retire. And even this this assistant coach with the Vikings retired rather than be vaccinated. But you'll sit there and these players will play in the NFL knowing that there's brain trauma and it's okay for that. But to get a vaccine, I'm going to retire, but you'll play and get concussed all the time. Maybe you've been concussed before. Jagoffs. Member of the Arizona Senate, Wendy Rogers. I guess she was upset that the Cleveland Indians changed their name to the Cleveland Guardians. So she puts out that she likes Indians and she likes Redskins. She likes Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben and Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson. But she doesn't like traitors who hate America. Stand up for our culture. Wendy. Jagoff! There was another member of the U.S. Capitol riots that was arrested. And this man, Andrew Take, Taake, he was arrested because during the whole storming of the Capitol, he was trying to get him some. So he was going on Bumble and having chats with the ladies. And he was telling this woman, and I guess he sent her pictures, that he was peacefully standing there at the Capitol. So she turned him in. All right, here's Dave's storming the Capitol rule of the day. If you're going to storm the Capitol, don't go on Bumble or Tinder or OkCupid or any of those. Just storm the Capitol. Don't try to get laid at the same time. Andrew, you're a jagoff. There are many Southerners that are turning down the COVID vaccine because they're angry that Donald Trump lost the election, and they're just sick of Democrats in Washington thinking they know what's best. That's a good way to own the libs. Get sick and die. You own the libs on that. Jagoffs. The Catholic Monsignor who wanted to deny Joe Biden communion resigned after his cell phone linked him to Grindr, which is a gay dating app. Monsignor, you're a jagoff. Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton. He's a Harvard graduate. He's an Ivy League graduate. This was his brilliant statement. If you turn these decisions over to public health officials, of course they'll do what they've been training and practicing their entire lives, which is protect public health. No shit, Tom. Jagoff. Devin Nunes says that the Democrats are using computer-generated graphics to fake Joe Biden's speeches. Devin. Jagoff. Well, I haven't talked about Illinois State Senator Darren Bailey in a while. Darren says that a government cannot and should never tell its people how to live, how to behave, and what to do. Okay, Darren, so I guess you're good with abortions now, and you're not so tough on crime because the government shouldn't be able to tell people how to live. So you're good with all this now, right? Can we get you on the record, Darren? Jag-off? Oh, some real jag-offs, and there's a couple of them I want to call out. But people are criticizing Simone Biles for dropping out of the Olympics for mental health reasons and whatever. Matt Walsh of the Matt Walsh blog, this piece of work says that Michael Jordan leaves Game 7 of the NBA Finals to focus on mental health. Well, Matt, let's get a couple things straight. One, Michael never had a Game 7. All right, so get your facts straight. And also don't forget that he took off almost 2 full years to concentrate on his mental health after his father was killed. So Matt Walsh, kiss my ass, you jag-off. And mutant Charlie Kirk calls Simone Biles a selfish sociopath and is shame to our country. We're raising a generation of weak people like Simone Biles. Charlie, you're 27 years old and you do ads for pain relief, and you want to say we're raising a generation of weak people. You don't even sweat when you jerk off. You're just a jag-off. Go away. Oh, but the real winner is Florida Man. Florida Man is the jag-off of the week. A Florida man accidentally shot himself while showing Florida bar customers his gun. He was displaying his gun and made a quick motion as if putting it into his pretend holster, and the gun discharged and he shot himself. Florida Man, you're a jag-off. All right, that's going to wrap things up for episode 72 of Beer in Front. I thank everyone for listening. I will see you again in a month. Have a great month of August, and I'll see you in September.